Asiwafuna makwala, asiwafuna mavelashona, asifuna imidlwembe, sifuna makabane katambo, asiwafuna makwala, asiwafuna mavelashona, asifuna imidlwembe, sifuna makabane katambo, asiwafuna makwala.
20 minutes it is after 10 o'clock, and if you're just tuning in, welcome to it. Is the word on the street, and your frequency is 87.6. And joining me now in studio is Stan Itsikhel Singh. Yes, he is the NEC member of the PPF, that is the Progressive Professional Forum, as well as a director in the office of the Executive Mayor, Dada Marrero. Stan, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Eldos FM, word on the street.
Morning, and thank you for having me on a very cold day in Eldos Park.
I'm actually of the opinion that you came with the cold weather, sir.
When I was growing up, I used to read some comics, and one of the guys in the comics was Snowman.
Yeah.
And he blew out cold winter. I wish I was him. Such superpowers would assist.
Definitely 100%. And then also in the wake of climate change, it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. Now this morning, Stan, we are getting into all things Starlink. So we want to get an understanding. As you know, like even the small kids in the community go around talking about Starlink as if they really know, because it's Starlink this, Starlink that. So perhaps we should really just start off, just so that we are on par and all on the same page. Perhaps you want to start off by telling us exactly what Starlink is.
Well, Starlink is an internet Wi-Fi company. It is formed by, fortunately or unfortunately, a South African-born owner called Elon Musk, who then migrated and finally became a citizen of America. And there, through innovation, he created this internet company. How they push data is not necessarily through ordinary wiring. They are doing what we call satellite links, and through these particular satellite links, they are able to transmit signals through waves, which you call them radio waves. Of course, they would come in, catch up here, and be able to assist you to connect without necessarily having to plug in onto any data line or onto your normal standard, what we call this signaling base that you are using to transmit data. It's got one or two advantages. Advantage number one is that if you are using the technology of Starlink, you don't have to dig trenches, you don't have to do wiring, and so in terms of its rollout, the speed of rolling it out is just that you just have to have it there, and people who subscribe will connect without necessarily anybody having to do wiring into your household or to your cell phone or something like that. Like the cell phone currently, it is operating without generally any trenching, any phones, it connecting through waves. The difference though is that when the cell phone base stations are set up, there is a lot of either digging trenches or there is a whole lot of a base station structure being set up to be able to transmit your signal for you. And secondly, there is rumor that your normal wave that you're getting from a cell phone could be exacerbating cancer or something like that. This one does not have anything of that sort. The only thing is that is Starlink the be it all of modern technology coming. There are many companies, including South African companies, that are operating a same system. I think the best we have now is run by a Chinese company, but you have standing companies in South Africa that are using the same system. The excitement and hullabaloo is probably because the Americans are able to market themselves. Elon Musk, having adapted to America, is selling this thing like it's getting out of fashion. Yes.
Around Starlink and its entry into South Africa. Now, your media release has drawn a clear line between the BBBEE equity equivalence as well the 30% HDG ownership that is required under the Electronic Communications Act. Do you believe that the Department of Communications is deliberately blurring that legal distinction to fast-track Starlink's entry?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Department of Communication is an implementer and not necessarily a political crafter in the Wi-Fi internet connectivity. That lies completely at a different level. It lies with the department, the DTI department, because any business that comes into the country to come in and invest must go through DTI. They must look into their empowerment policies and processes. The fact that they are foreign companies does not necessarily mean that they can come here into Eldos and generate income from the people of Eldos without empowering them into that particular space. So the article and why I was writing is that the Minister of Communications is in this particular instance trying to bypass standing government policy that talks to empowerment, because the BBBEE and what it stands for, it says that when major and new government developments, new business developments are coming into an area, there must be local empowerment through ownership and control. And you are saying in the space of internet connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity, 30% needs to be given to local procurement. It's a standing thing. I mean, when a person puts a layout of a street here, layout of any electrical thing or development of a school, the locals goes there and say, we want to get a stake in business. The Minister of Communication, who is a DA minister, is saying, no, we can't empower people. And for that, I am of the opinion, it's not even an opinion, I am factually saying that the minister is saying local South Africans must not be empowered when foreign development comes into our country to come in and set up their business. He says there is a way, and a way is that we must be perpetual hewers of wood. Because when you go there as a laborer, all you do is just to go out and work on a pick and a fortune to be able to do the work of the slave master, who is in this particular instance is the business. Now, the land of the future is not your physical land. The land of the future is technology. I mean, not long ago, people could not go into Wi-Fi. Not long ago, people did not even use cell phone, WhatsApp, and things like those. Today, in this country, South Africa, probably 95% of our community is onto WhatsApp, is onto internet connectivity and things like those. But who are the owners of these things? They are pale and white. They are foreigners in most cases. So when are our people going to be integrated into here? And when they set up their business, because there are already businesses in South Africa that are in this particular space, the introduction of these foreign companies with no local empowerment means that our business here are going to be stifled and killed. Like any new thing that is coming up here, our businesses are going to be strangled. And who's running our business? It's an ordinary Joe Soap here in Orlando Park, an ordinary Joe Soap in Diepkloof, in Pimville, in Klipspruit, in Kliptown, and all other places. So these people will be taken out of the job that they started and initiated, and they are not empowered by the big boys when they come here. It's really a travesty of justice. It is treason from where I'm sitting. It is very treasonous.
Are we legislative oversight in favor of executive expediency? And if so, what, in your opinion, in terms of precedent, is this for foreign tech giants?
In fact, I see something worse than that. What I see is the government of national unity has brought in parties to work together towards nation building, towards building a rainbow nation, towards capacitating it and improving its economic outlook. But when these people come into government, they are contesting for their own things. A company that is closer to business, like we see with the minister and the proximity they have to Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They want Elon Musk to come here without taking into consideration the nation building that we need to do, the capacitating of our people, the development and empowering of our people. They want Elon Musk to come here, set up his business, harvest every money and export it back to America where he is now living, leaving our people impoverished, not even transferring skill, not even transferring ownership, not even addressing the issue of management that needs to happen. I mean, Irene Chenley, a lady who grew up here in Eldo Park, is big in the MTN business. Through what? Through empowerment. She went in there, formed a MTN, partnered with foreign businesses. MTN currently is the proudly South African entity that has empowered the child of Eldorado Park to become a multi-million giant here, that everybody in Eldorado Park can point and say, Irene Chandley there with Cyril Ramaphosa had formed MTN, which is a global giant that it is today. So if Elon Musk is going to come here, where are we going to get another Irene Chandley?
Used by the likes of IBM, Microsoft, even Amazon, with measurable investment commitments. So based on the current information, do you believe that Starlink's proposed involvement meets the spirit or the substance even of those previous EEPs?
You know, the issue of CSI, I'm not sure. I mean, we're sitting in a problem here where Donald Trump is saying he's withdrawing all foreign donations that are coming into this country from the American people. So equally, what it means even the CSI that is coming from their own companies, because they will not give them tax incentive for contribution, will then be curtailed. So we can't be lured into people coming in and saying, we are going to make you desperate children and give you donations of money. We don't want donations of money. We want capacitation of our people. Black, white, colored, Indians, Chinese that were here before 1994 needs to be capacitated, not be given handouts. That will depend on the whim of the kind of president you are having here in America. And if you have the one who is emotionally bankrupt and the one like the one that we are having in Donald Trump, they will stop all those particular contributions. Empower us so that we are able to advance ourselves, not only with the knowledge, not only with running the business, but to be able to innovate ourselves into this particular space into the future. We are tired of people who come here and say because they've got a patent registered somewhere in the USA, we can't compete with them. Because once they're here, their business needs to be protected by our laws. Because I told you that there are businesses that are running here in the country. These businesses that are running here in the country, the laws would say how to protect each business, including the one that is coming. That we know it is coming to swallow and destroy our business. We can't be lured into small little handouts that are giving out of desperation. And then one day they are taking, the way Trump is taking the money that is allocated, not only to South Africa, but to countries throughout the world.
Now, Stan, many South African areas are excited about Starlink's promise of your universal internet. How do we then balance the urgent connectivity needs with those long-term national interests like your digital sovereignty as well as sector transformation?
I told you that we already have companies here in the country. All we need to do is either inject money in them, and if they have a scale problem, they can partner with international companies that are here. If Starlink wants to come in and partner with our people and give them a stake in their business in the country, they are welcomed. But I also want to say that every time we bring in companies to come in and invest, we must look at the kind of innovation that they are bringing. If there is better innovation like the ones the Chinese are having, we should go to the better, because our development must be an advancement. You can't bring an Alcatel here when currently an iPhone is the phone that people are using. Where is Alcatel today? So it is important at entry point that as a country we really look and explore into these different technologies and say which one is best for us, which one is a technology of the future, and not which one has deep pockets and which one has power globally to come in here and milk us out and continue this economic exploitation of South Africa. We do want technology. It is needed yesterday. We do want development. It is needed yesterday. But it cannot come as a repeat of colonization that has actually bankrupted us and left us into squalors like El Dorado, like Soweto, and many other townships that are there. We need to develop the way other countries are developing. And it is important for us to look into the countries where they're coming from, the countries that are breaking those businesses to come here. What is their intention coming here? Is it exploitation? I'm not sure whether you've seen the movie Avatar. If you see in the movie Avatar, people go into a foreign space, go there and exploit, annex, kill everything that is in that particular entry. Starlink and Elon Musk, including Trump, must not come here and repeat an Avatar invasion here. We want people that want to work with us, assist us into development and moving forward as a country.
Stanley, about critics, in any given situation, there's always the yay and the naysayers, right? So critics may then argue that strict ownership and licensing requirements discourage foreign investment. How would you then respond to the concern that insisting on the 30% HDG ownership may delay or even derail projects with a clear public benefit like Starlink's rural connectivity?
These narratives are a fallacy. I've seen businesses go into countries that are dictatorial in nature. I've seen countries, business going into what they call communist countries. I've seen American business going to invest in China. And China is a communist with special Chinese characteristics. I mean, your iPhone is still developed in China, all of them. They are developed in China. They may be American product, but they're developed in China. And when they go there, they conform to the rules there. Mining companies that come to South Africa, they are throwing tendrils, but they go to Botswana next door. But they give the Botswana people 51% shareholdership, something that they don't do here in the country. So we cannot have spoiled bread businesses coming here, because when they come here, it's not only because they want to develop our people. They come here because they saw a business niche in our country that could make their businesses to be able to maximize and become profitable. So they come here not because they are doing us a favor. They are coming here because they are making their businesses a favor to grow. And we are a gateway into Africa. We've got the infrastructure of everything. We've got a road network, like they are making heaven. They may be having potholes, which Mayor Dada Morero is working on fixing, and they are being fixed on a day-to-day basis. But it is this infrastructure that makes businesses to come and invest here, because you will not be able to go and invest in Koffiefontein where there is no tower, where there is no infrastructure at all. We've got electricity that is reliable. We know that we had a problem with load shedding, but the turnaround in fixing it has been speedily addressed, and businesses come to environment that are business friendly, not policy and things, business friendly businesses. And I think our policies here are business friendly, and the democracy we're having in this particular country creates stability that business needs to come in and make an investment in this country. So the scarecrow tactics about us creating a disabling environment for business is not true. It's not true.
On legal compliance, what role should Parliament and the courts now play in clarifying the apparent contradictions between the BBEE policy as well as the Electronic Communications Act? Is legislative reform needed, or is it simply a matter of enforcement of existing laws?
Well, let's start with first one. Yes, the laws must be enforced. They have to be enforced because, you know, we are having over 300 years and more of subjugation and economic dispossession of our people here. And therefore, there must be enforcement to make compliance possible. But is 30% enough to actually have people that have been dispossessed over 300 years? No. We need to increase the quotas. We need to do what Botswana is doing and go 51% and above. Because in this country here, there is a large outcry. I mean, if you go to El Raro Park and look at the unemployed people and the fight of the people of El Raro Park, that they feel marginalized out of business. They feel marginalized out of opportunities. And then you have a DA that sits down and say this marginalization is justified, and they will worsen it and ignore the law that is standing. It is wrong. I mean, the fact that they get support and votes in this particular area, yet they are putting up rules that will impoverish and make the people in this particular area not to continue to having ways to live. They can't breathe because of policies that are coming from this lousy Minister of Communication. I call her lousy because she's not thinking with her head. She's thinking with her laurels.
Now, as we wrap it up, stands itself as a tool for digital inclusion, but you are warning against recolonization by satellite. So in your view, what would genuine transformative partnership look like with a company like Starlink, as well one that aligns with both constitutional principles and economic justice?
Well, first and foremost, ownership and control is the cornerstone of every BBEE laws. There must be black ownership and control, and blacks as broadly defined in the Constitution, which includes blacks, coloreds, Indians, and Chinese that were here before 1994. They need to be affirmed in there, but you are not affirming any big pompies that is walking throughout the street. It is those people that are in that particular space already. Let's identify the companies that are already in the country and say, who are you? Here are the people that are in that space. Partner with them so that they are not kicked out of the business. You know what the malls did when they came here? They came here, they operated and killed the shop that belong to some uom here in the area, and the shop becomes a white elephant and it's no longer working because Checkers and Pick and Pay have built a mall and everybody is running to the mall, killing our own local business. We can't allow that repeat to happen. We have to be strict and stand on it. There must be equity that is being addressed. Women must be affirmed. I come here being interviewed by a lady in the space that was, largely dominated by male in the past. It is very refreshing. It is very welcoming. It is an employment equity that we're seeing happening. And we need to be able to affirm women who are largely people who are housemaids and looking at children here when everybody is making a living in big firms. So the issue of transformation, the issue of equity is quite key and cardinal a driver that would make us give as a condition for businesses coming here. If they don't want to come here because their focus is exploitation, let them stay there. We've known what we've seen what exploitation has done. It takes away your land, it takes away your dignity, it continue to makes you poor. And by the way, our society is sitting down. It's not like they're not doing anything. They may be selling archers and keeps, but that is innovation. If taken seriously, it will be able to advance and grow with time. People must not be embarrassed that I am selling fat cakes and I'm doing recycling, because that recycling is big business that people must take seriously and not scorn when people are pushing trolleys around the cities of Johannesburg. Because if I can tell you, a very big bag of plastics, tins or bottles could give a person around 5,000 rands in that bag. Now, these guys that are to chasing the dustbins every time when the RCR or pick it up is coming to collect, they're making a killing. That's why they're not going to Botswana or to Lesotho, to Mozambique, where they come from. They are staying here because they are making a killing. All we need to do is open up, show opportunities to people, and show what monies and revenues are coming out of sustenance.
Thank you so very much for making time to talk with us on this very, very highly publicized issue.
Thank you very much for having me and making me to come and share my thoughts with South Africa.
It is 10 minutes to 11 o'clock. Your news headlines is coming your way in just a few. Eldos FM 87.6.
Johannesburg implemented tariffs on first